Hello to all my fellow glorious Gaians. Thank you for joining me, Amber, on my channel Guidance Through Gaia, where I do tarot pick a card readings. If this is your first time, welcome, and I hope that you find something useful here for you today, something that resonates with you. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you for giving me another opportunity to read your energy today. We're going to be doing a very quick reading about how would they react if they saw someone flirting with you. We're just going to be using these 4 stones as a way that you can pick a pile or piles. And then we will be using the tarot cards to look at how they would react and the reasons behind their reaction. This can be about somebody that you are currently in a relationship with. This can be about somebody who is a situationship, a crush. This can be about a future potential partner. And the intention behind this is to be a little bit lighthearted, but you know, we do all have different desires. Some people like their partners to be really laid back and not give an F if somebody flirts with them. Some people like a little bit more possessiveness. And so this reading is meant to show you like, okay, yes, this is how your partner or your interest would potentially react. And of course, we wouldn't want to make any assumptions. We wouldn't want to make any judgment calls without first, witnessing that. And then this is the reason why. Like, are they feeling insecure about themselves? Are they feeling hyper secure, like very secure? Are they feeling insecure about you? Is there anything that, especially if you do enter into a relationship with this person or you are in a relationship with this person, is this something that needs to be kind of discussed about how you would prefer these situations to be handled or why they react or don't react? And in the end, like, if potentially there needs to be a relationship status change, like, if someone cannot react in the way that you would like, and if it's like in a way that's kind of detrimental, because like sometimes it's not even like a bad reaction, it's just 2 people may have different love languages, and the reaction to jealousy or a lack of jealousy can be part of that love language. I will say, you could certainly be drawn to more than one stone if you have more than one person on your mind. Also, because we are looking at 2 different questions, if you feel drawn to more than one stone, feel free to take a look, because maybe one stone covers the way in which this person would react. Maybe the other stone would indicate more of the reasoning why they would react that way. Okay, so we've got 4 stones here. We have the pyrite heart. We have the Caribbean calcite. We have the tiger's eye. And we have the peacock ore. All right, take as much time as you need, because obviously, like, this is pre-recorded. I will see you at your pile or piles. Bye. All right, group number 1, you chose the pyrite heart. So we are going to be looking at how they would react if they saw someone flirting with you, and then the reason for that reaction. And we're just going to make this a little quickie. I'm really trying to get better about like finding what I need in order to be more consistent. And I know that part of it is like external, like, away from this kind of deal. Like, oh, I need to get more sleep. Yes. I'm sure drinking water fits into there somewhere. I do enjoy longer readings, but until I can figure out how I can charge my own personal battery, like they are very, very draining. So I'm just trying to figure out my own personal system. Okay. All right, group number 1's person. How would they react if they saw someone flirting with group number 1? Now that kind of wanted to flip, but I try to do it so that my system for that, in case anybody cares, my system for that is whichever, like, I try to turn it counterclockwise, excuse me. So whichever end is closest to to the top counterclockwise. That's the way I go. Okay, we've got the Knight of Pentacles upright, and we have the Hierophant. Okay, and then I'm gonna put that here. And you know what? That makes so much sense. We'll get into it. I'm gonna do the other half of this, but that makes a lot of sense given the fact that this is a pyrite heart. So there's like a lot of security here, but we're gonna get into why they would behave this way. The Three of Cups. Oh, okay. The Ace of Cups. The Nine of Swords. The Ten of Cups. And the Five of Swords. I want to get one more just because I don't like imbalance. Wow. Someone's a smartass today. Okay, the Queen of Wands and the Six of Cups in reverse. I do want to get one for the Knight of Pentacles. Or two. We've got the Seven of Cups and the Page of Cups in reverse. With the Ace of Pentacles and the Four of Swords on the bottom deck. I'm going to be right back, guys. All right. Sorry about that. I had to answer a phone call. So we're going to look first at what they would do. And I'm going to tell you this, group number one. This is a person who would not do anything. The Ace of Wands in reverse indicates to me that they wouldn't feel particularly motivated to approach you or the individual who was flirting with you. This is a person who is looking or especially if this is someone that you are in a relationship with, or with whom you will enter a relationship. This is somebody who is very confident in knowing what they want. They want stability. They want a grounded relationship. And so as long as if this is a serious commitment between the two of you, you know, they have a sense that like group one is my person, you know, they're my ride or die. They're very dedicated to me. This is not somebody who is going to get riled up about it. We've got the Knight of Pentacles here, which is a very slow moving knight, but it's a knight that moves consistently and it's a knight that moves towards stability. And then with the Hierophant here, you know, that's commitment in and of itself. That's dedication. And so if this is somebody that you have in your life right now and who is a very serious either prospect, like maybe you guys are in like the talking stage, or you just started dating, or this could be a long-term partner. And then this is somebody who already knows, like, I want to make things work with group number one. And I feel very comfortable with how they are. And then if this is somebody who is not in your life or is not currently somebody who is someone that you've got something serious going on with, I feel like they might be the more of the type of person who would just kind of sit back and watch, okay, like what does group one do? You know, how seriously do they take what this person is saying to them or how they are flirting with them, how their body language is, their actions toward them, because they want to see how committed you are. We've got the Seven of Cups here with the Page of Cups in reverse. So for those of you who are in something that's moving towards seriousness or currently serious with them, they know that, and this is the thing about making up tarot readings on the spot, like, because I feel like this is kind of blending into what this is, but I feel like this goes more in depth. But this is somebody who fantasizes about the ways that they can be with you, you know, who has the understanding of like what the two of you have behind you or the opportunities that you have in front of you. They know that people are going to flirt with you, but they also understand that there's a connection between the two of you. And so they're not in their feelings. The Page of Cups in reverse talks about how they understand like you will refuse, or at least they believe that you will refuse other advances. If this is somebody that you're not something serious with, what this could indicate is that they may kind of pull their energy back if they see somebody flirting with you because they want to see how you respond. Meanwhile, like, if they feel that you're not too committed, they might go somewhere else. They might look elsewhere. They might say, okay, pile one, maybe our intentions didn't align up. And so I might look at other possible connections that may offer more seriousness and stability. So for the reasons why they would act like this, I think for those of you who are in good in like connections where they are moving toward commitment or are in commitment, I think you guys have a very strong sense of friendship behind you. You know, there's a lot of confidence in the relationship. You probably share everything with each other. You probably not only engage in like romantic or sexual ways, but you probably just spend a lot of free time together. You know, you might text each other. You might have inside jokes. You might watch, you know, TV shows together, go out and do activities together. So there's already some sort of strong bond that exists if it isn't in the process of already being built. And with this Ace of Cups feeling here, what this makes me think of is even if you guys are like long-term partners, you know, this is somebody who I feel like has never lost that honeymoon phase with you. You know, there's always kind of like this refreshing of like romance and lightness and joy. And I think that's helped kind of buffer any concerns they might have about your attention straying, somebody else coming in and being able to kind of whisk you away. If this is somebody who is newer, but like you're exploring the possibility of being serious, I think they understand too, like, hey, you know, even though we might not be like in love or we might not be committed or we might not have been together forever, for a long time, excuse me, I understand that, you know, we're still learning about each other. We're still discovering how we would work as a couple. And so if group one isn't like completely obsessed with me and dedicated to me, I understand that. You know, we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to take things too seriously. And if it's not a match, it's not a match. This could also be like if they might kind of find pleasure in seeing people flirt with you a little bit. They might kind of think it's cute, whether because you might reject the other person, so it gives them a kind of a sense of confidence, or whether it's because they're just very proud to have somebody that they know other people desire. You guys could even potentially joke about like, oh my God, did you see how that person looked at me? Or like they tried to, you know, offer me a drink or something like that. If this is somebody that, you know, you're not serious with and they're newer, they might just be able to look at it from the stance of, I'm going to appreciate what we've got right now, and if it doesn't last, it doesn't last. The Nine of Swords in reverse tells me that there isn't a lot of anxiety here. This is a person who is very confident. They probably observe a lot. And if this is a connection that you currently have, whether committed or non-committed, there probably is a lot of communication that you guys maintain, and you probably are very open about how you feel and what you're looking for. If there are aspects of each other that maybe you would like to see adapted in one another. And so there's a trust that's already built there. If this is a newer connection or one that isn't necessarily serious, they might just be kind of detached from the situation and just be either like, if this is a crush and they have no idea how you feel about them, they just might not have that sense of attachment of like, oh, group number one is interested in me and I want to be able to show that I'm interested in them too and secure a connection with them. They might be completely oblivious and just wouldn't think anything of it. Otherwise, if this is a situation where it's like you're not really serious about each other, like it's a situationship, or it's like a newer, like a really new situation. Once again, they're just kind of detached. They're just going with the flow. The Ten of Cups and the Five of Swords. I think what this demonstrates is that in the past they have had experiences where they have really struggled. It could be that they struggled with jealousy and it impacted their happiness. Or even more so, they've had to fight to get to a place where they are really happy, whether it's with themselves, with their level of success, with their relationships. And so I think they've learned to let a lot of insecurities and stress go. And this is a person who's like, I'm not really going to fight. If someone doesn't want to stay, they don't want to stay, or I'm not going to get really possessive over group number one. Especially like if this is a new situation, or this is just like a crush, because like, I want to know that they're going to choose me. I want to know that I am their first option and I'm not going to push anything on them. They've really developed a strong sense of confidence and a feeling of worth. And I think this also is because they see you as a prize as well, especially if this is like a relationship, and it like that is established. And they feel happy around you. They feel brighter around you. They feel warm around you. And if they have had to go through situations and really build up their own level of happiness, get rid of any toxicity, whether it was like internal or external, this is a feeling that they're fighting to keep, like they want to keep. This is a person who's like, I've stressed in the past. I've tried to control things in the past. And I'm not going to overextend myself anymore. What's meant for me will stay. And then with the Six of Cups in reverse, I do feel that this is somebody who feels comfortable giving without receiving. It's that thought of, if you love something, let it go. And if it comes back, it was meant to be. Or love is giving without ever expecting anything in return. And so I feel like this is a person who isn't necessarily bothered about like, hey, if I take group number one on a date and they ghost me, or like the waiter is flirting with them, or, a passerby on the street is making googly eyes at them, I'm not going to stress out over it. I'm just going to be my authentic self, and I'm going to let them decide if that's something that they want to stay with, and that they feel is attractive to them and something that they want to invest in. If this is a long-term relationship, I feel like this is a person who may have learned not to do like tit for tat, not to be somebody who takes tally or holds grudges or holds people accountable, especially for others' actions. So like maybe, especially if this is a long-term relationship and you guys have had struggles in the past about things like jealousy, or even if they've had relationships in the past where maybe they were the jealous partner or the other partner was jealous of them, could be that they've learned from that. And they're like, you know what, I am just going to focus on my love for group number one. And I'm not going to worry about what I get in return, making sure that I am getting more attention than the person at the grocery store. So I think this is somebody who ultimately group number one has learned how to be very confident in themselves. They're not somebody who's going to act on any sense of jealousy. They're not going they're not going to approach somebody and be like, oh, don't look at my pile number one. Like, take your eyes. This isn't somebody who's going to try to control what you wear. This isn't somebody who's going to be looking through your phone. This isn't somebody who's going to get upset with you if somebody else is giving you attention. At most, this is somebody who might kind of like tease you a little bit in a fun, flattering way about like, oh my God, look at you. You got a free car wash from the gas attendant because like they thought you were sexy. But there's a level of security that, especially if this is an established connection, there's a level of security that they feel with you that allows them to feel confident in the relationship. And if this is a newer connection or a connection that hasn't been established yet, there's just a sense of security within themselves where they've decided, you know what, I'm not here to play games. I'm not here to cause stress. Like, I just want commitment that wants me as well. So group number one, I apologize for the stumbling that I was going through at first. I probably should have cleared my energy a little bit after I took that phone call. Something I'm always learning about myself as a tarot reader is like, how do I grow my abilities and like, you know, what are the things that potentially interfere? But I hope that this resonated with you. If it did, please let me know how in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the reading, it'd be great if you could give the video a thumbs up. And then if you'd like to subscribe but haven't done so, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know whenever I upload a new video. Bye. Hello, group number two. You chose the Caribbean calcite. So this will be your reading on what they would do if they saw someone flirting with you. So I always feel bad for like the first groups because it's kind of a hit or miss with me sometimes. I think I ended really well on my reading with them. But especially when I just get like a spontaneous idea of what I want to do, sometimes I don't ground myself enough. And then I struggle with articulating, but let me see how this one turns out. It turned out well. The last one did well. It did. It just, I was on some training wheels and I was wobbling to get to that point. So we're just going to lay out the cards, and on the left of the crystal is going to be how they would react, and on the right of the crystal is the reason behind their reaction. And then we'll get into the discussion. All right, how would group number one's person react if they saw someone flirting with group number one? And then just remember, this is just supposed to be, this is just supposed to be an indicator, you know, if this obviously is not the way that the person, if you know how this person acts, maybe the reasoning behind it is still valid. But if you have no idea how they would act, and this is just to explain it, so that if you have the possibility to see it in the future, like that's just kind of confirmation. You know, if you've started dating somebody and they seem really cool, calm, and collected, sometimes it does take a while for people to show their true colors, but this reading itself, like if it comes out like, oh, they would go crazy if someone was flirting with you, we don't want to make that a judgment unless we see that at some point down the road. It's just, you know, it might be a warning sign to like, watch out for any red flags. If you get a gut feeling, maybe pay more attention to it. That sort of thing. Okay. And then why? Okay. Why would group number two's person act this way? I want to get a clarifier for that Seven of Swords. We've got the Ace of Cups here. And then maybe the Eight of Cups in reverse. Can we get a clarifier? Six of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. And we've got the Emperor in reverse with the Star. I did have a bottom deck energy for group number 1, but I forgot to do it. So group number 2, the first thought when I saw the Seven of Swords was, we got a runner! But I don't think it's a person who would run away. I think this is somebody who would, if they saw you, be an individual who would really try to get in the middle. Or this is somebody who, if they saw someone flirting with you, I think immediately they would try to grab your attention. I don't think that they would confront somebody. So for instance, if they happened to be connected to your social media somehow, and they saw someone leaving like a flirtatious remark, I don't think that they would necessarily confront the person who made the remark. I think they might instead leave you comments about like, oh, you're so beautiful, or we had so much fun, didn't we? This might be somebody who would confront you directly, and I don't think they would necessarily ask you about the person. I don't think that this is someone who would confront the situation itself. I don't think they would ask you like, hey, how do you know this person? Or what do you think of them? Are they cute? Or anything like that. I think they would try to avoid interacting with the other person or bringing them up as much as possible, because I think they would be afraid that the focus on the other individual would push your attention to that individual. I think this is somebody who would really want the focus on themselves. So this is somebody who would come towards you, whether it be through text, through a phone call, through physical contact, and who would try to like wedge themselves in between you and the other person, or you and the other interaction. Somebody who would just start paying a lot of attention to you so that you would focus on them. Because it looks like they want to make sure that the other individual would be left out, that they would be ignored, that they would be forgotten. That's something that they're probably worried about themselves. I think this is somebody who would be very aware of people's attention on you. This is somebody, whether you are in a connection with, like, romantically or sexually, committed or not, or somebody who, if you have a crush on them, they very much likely have a crush on you. And if this is somebody who's in your future, like, this is how they'll behave. But I think they're very hyper focused on you. It might even be borderline obsession. Whether it's, I don't think it would be an obsession where they would cause you any harm. It's not like a stalker or anything like that. But I definitely feel that this is somebody who would have their sights set on you, and who would be very reactive. They may have an anxious attachment style. And so this could be somebody who, if for instance they think you're a little too friendly with waitstaff, I don't think they would get upset with you. They would probably just try to behave in ways that would put the attention on them so they feel comforted. So like maybe they feel like, oh, pile number 2 like smiled a little bit too widely at the waiter or the waitress, and so they might like reach over and grab your hand, stroke your fingers, maybe might compliment your outfit, or express how much they missed you, or they're happy to be on a date with you. This is somebody who definitely wants to make you feel special, because they feel they feel as if that is going to help solidify their connection with you and make you realize, or help you continue to realize, that they're special as well. This is giving me a little bit this very clingy energy, and that might be something that you do or do not like. Some people really want their partner to be like on them, really affectionate, kind of at their beck and call. And some people that just really turns them off, where they're like, no, like, grow a pair, or suck it up, or just like feel more confident about yourself. So that might be, if this is something that would turn you off or does turn you off, that might be something to watch for. As to why they would act like that. Now we have the Wheel of Fortune. So this person might be really focused on cycles. And so they could be somebody who in their childhood experienced really cyclical relationships, whether that was like with family or friends, or as they got older, romantic partners, where maybe they felt like people's opinions of them tended to change, and so they were constantly chasing, like, gaining their approval. They could have had an absent parent, whether that person was physically absent or maybe they were more emotionally absent. They could have been in a friendship or a family relationship where it was like they had to earn their love. I think this is somebody whose mind is always turning, and they're very likely always observant. I'll tell you what, this is me. This is me. And so they're always noticing, I think, like the little shifts in the way that you communicate or the way that you present yourself. If, for instance, you have a day where maybe you don't dress up or you don't wear like your typical scent, they might feel like, oh my gosh, it's pile number 2, losing interest in me. Whereas, like, for you, it might be just like, oh, I'm just a little bit more comfortable with you now, or I just had a really off day. So I don't feel like dressing up, or I didn't feel like primping and prepping myself. This could be somebody who does like mistake the way that you attend to them for being like due to personal reasons instead of like other environmental factors like lack of sleep, not feeling well, stressed about other things, work, education, children. The World in reverse tells me that this connection is or will be something that they don't want to end. Like, they want to make sure that this has a continuation for the long run. And so if they feel like your attention is shifting, or if somebody else could step in and potentially prove themselves, quote unquote, more worthy, then they feel like they have to step up their game, because they're worried that there could be a risk of you moving on, or of your opinion of them shifting. The 8 of Cups in reverse talks about staying in situations that might be problematic, or like maintaining, not that this connection is problematic, but maintaining like even behaviors that can be problematic, toxic, codependent. And we've got the 6 of Pentacles in reverse. So I think when they're afraid that sorry, just a moment. I think there's a concern for them that if they don't focus on that moment where maybe you were a little friendlier than they expected, or concerned that maybe someone they thought was attractive or charismatic or accomplished came up to you and gave you attention, and that if they didn't address that, if they didn't focus on that situation, that they wouldn't receive the comfort and the confirmation that they feel that they need in order to feel secure. So it's almost kind of like they don't feel comfortable in just not worrying about maybe the way that you smiled or tilted your head, or if you're dressing a little more casually than you used to, or if you're not as responsive if you're used to as they're used to, or if they're comparing themselves. They feel like they have to address it, because if they don't address it, I think they feel like the opportunity is going to be lost. Like they need to address that insecurity for them to feel confident and say, okay, group number 2 is still serious about me. I still got my shot. They're still in love with me. They still think I'm sexy. They still want to talk to me. With the Emperor in reverse and the Star, and the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands, I think they see that they have some codependency issues, and I think it is something that they're working on, because they do want to be your counterpart. They do want to be somebody who is confident and comfortable. And if this behavior for you is okay, if you're like, hey baby, if you need constant reassurance, like, I'm okay with that, then I think it's okay to let them know. They may be holding themselves to a standard that isn't a standard that you would hold them to. But if it has been an issue, or would be an issue and you notice it, then this is definitely something that they do want to correct, because they feel like you deserve somebody who is confident. You deserve somebody who feels secure in themselves, because they kind of, I think, worry that their insecurities will potentially damage the relationship between you, and maybe make you feel less secure in this relationship. So group number 2, I hope that this reading resonated. If it did, let me know how in the comment section down below. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to join our family and haven't done so, you can hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know whenever I upload a new video. Bye. Hi, group number 3. You chose the Tiger's Eye. So this is a reading on how they would react if they saw someone flirting with you, and then the reasons for why they would react that way. So just remember, if this is somebody that you already know and you kind of already know how they would react, this might delve deeper into just understanding why they react that way. Although we should always, try to have open dialogues with people about the reasons why they do things. Like, they'll be able to give a more authentic and precise answer than a tarot reader online. And if you don't know how they actually react, this is just something that maybe you can look out for, see like, okay, as I get to know this person, or as we get closer, or as I'm meeting people in my life and I'm getting closer to my next romantic partner, does this reading hold true? This isn't something that should necessarily be a complete surprise to you. I don't want anybody making any rash decisions because they listened to an invisible set of, well, I guess my hands aren't invisible. Anyway. Anyway, we'll get straight into the reading. Okay, the first 2 have been very, very different. So let's get into your reading, group number 3. So why would group number 3's person, how would group number 3's person react if they saw someone flirting with them? So we have the Ace of Cups with the Queen of Pentacles. Oh, I love this. Okay, we'll get one more. And then the Four of Cups in reverse. Absolutely. Look at this. Oh, beautiful. Now, why would they react this way? We've got Strength, the Star, and the King of Wands. Okay, let's see if we can get this. I just saw 222 on here. 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? All right. With the 10 of Wands at the bottom. This is probably like the clearest message out of all 3 thus far. So group number 3, how the person on your mind, past, present, future, committed, non-committed, would react if they saw somebody flirting with you is, oh, they would hype you up. They would. I think with this Ace of Cups, it would just create, even if this is a long-term relationship, right? You guys have been together for years. I think this would just cause their heart to swell and this renewal of like pride and love for you. And they'd be like, oh yeah, baby, did you see how that person was looking at you? Did you hear like the way their voice changed when they were talking to you? Or even if they saw like a message, like say you're on Instagram and they were looking through your content feed and they noticed like a flirtatious comment or whatever, they'd be like, oh, baby, like, you know what? They're right. Like, you do look fire there. You do look great. You are sexy. And I think that they would use it as an opportunity to build you up, because at the end of the day, I feel like this person really, it's not about them, they recognize that. They aren't seeing attention to you as a reflection of the quality of your relationship with them or the possibility of your relationship with them. They want people to treasure you and value you and notice you. And they want you to feel good. They would use this as an opportunity to build your confidence. I know the Queen of Pentacles, confidence we would typically look at more as the wands, but I think they do see confidence as a sense of stability and a sense of grounding, and I think that they would see really expressing their sense of validation or pointing out like the attention that you're getting as being able to ground your relationship. Not in a manipulative way, but understanding like in their mind, this is what a supportive partner does. In their mind, they don't act out of jealousy. They don't act out of rage. They don't get possessive, but they hype their person up. And this Four of Cups here, shows me that they would be unapologetic in their expression. They wouldn't hold anything back. They would just shower you with praise, adoration, confidence, and I think a lot of it would be verbal or text, depending on how the two of you do or would communicate. Because even though like we might see like cups sometimes as more like physical things because they are so much about like, emotions are, I guess I tend to see cups as more of physical behaviors, acting on the emotions. But this person isn't needing any affirmations from you. They aren't needing any reassurance from you. They're just, I think they're using their words. Oh my God. Okay. I'm seeing somebody who, especially if this person has a good sense of humor or if they're very creative, I could see this person being somebody who takes like, for instance, flirtatious or let's say like positive messages that you would get, for instance, like comments on Instagram and like printing them out and putting a little plaque or making like little magnets out of them. So they'd be like, yeah, see, this person thought you were sexy, and just kind of being a goofball about it, but in a way that would be uplifting as well. So if they were to do something physically, I think it would be very creative and it would be in such a positive way, group number 3. Now, the reason why they're doing this, okay, is because look at this. We have these 3 amazing cards here. Once again, cheerleader, 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 cheerleader. We've got this. I was thinking at first, like, wow, this is a really aggressive card. But like the fist in the air, roaring, I feel like they are someone who is very passionate and is very expressive. It's almost too like a fist pump in the air. We're like, yeah, like my babe, like people see how attractive my babe is or how talented my babe is or like, and I think they're people who want to elevate that, you know, having their partner feel powerful, I think makes them feel powerful. And it's just really, I wouldn't normally say that strength is necessarily a card of joy. I mean, I would look at that more as like the sun. But to me, it is like in this instance, just a card of pride and joy. Like this would be a moment for them to feel that sense of pride and joy, which I think especially if the two of you are creating a relationship, or in a long-term relationship, they probably already have that sense, but this is just like reinvigorating it. The star, I think to them, it's very healing to them to be able to do that. They may have been in relationships where they were criticized, even if it was like parental relationships, or maybe they were, I feel like for this group, I don't feel like they were necessarily the critical ones, but it doesn't mean that they couldn't have been. If there was criticism ever involved in any of their previous relationships, I feel like they were on the receptive end of it, so they know how important it is to make the other person feel valued and happy and proud and like a shining star. And so I think just the act of being able to do that for you just feels really healing and rewarding for them. And then the King of Wands, you know, that's someone who is passionate and motivated, and it could be that it creates a stronger passion and motivation towards you. But I think like also just in life, you know, if they ever go through periods where maybe they're feeling a little like numb or complacent, maybe work is really stressful, maybe bills are kind of piling up, maybe if there's like a distance between the two of you, sometimes they might feel a little somber because like they miss you, they wish there was more interaction, and just kind of seeing you shine, seeing someone else give you attention, I think reinvigorates them, and is like, even if there's like a distance, for example, like, oh yeah, Joe Schmo over here might have left a flirtatious comment on my babe's profile, but you know what? In like 2 months, I'm going to get to see them. Like I get to be with them, or tonight I'm getting the phone call, you know, and it may encourage them to take more proactive directions in like other areas of life. Like they may just feel a sense of joy when they're at work. And if they're like a small business owner, it may help them be more creative in how they interact with their clientele, how they market their products or their services, or the kinds of products or services that they do have. I think overall, like it just, the reason why that they would act like this is because it I think just reminds them of the beauty of life. Group number 3. And I love that, you know, the 10 of Wands in reverse here, especially with the 8 of Wands in reverse. The 8 of Wands in reverse can talk about delays. So especially if this is somebody that you're at a distance with, or maybe other areas of their life are progressing more slowly, like increase in finances, or maybe if, for instance, I don't know why this is coming to mind, but like if they're struggling because like a family member is ill or whatever, and their health isn't improving as quickly as what they would like to see, being able to see you be cherished and like worshipped and appreciated really just, I think, helps take that stressful load off of them, and they can focus on like, yes, like go group number 3, you got this. Like it's kind of like something good is in their life in those stressful moments. So group number 3, I hope that this resonated with you. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know how in the comment section down below, and give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. And if you have not joined our family but would be interested in doing so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll be alerted to whenever I upload a new video. Bye. All right, group number 4. Last but not least, we have the peacock oar. That rhymed. Oh my God. I'm a lyrical genius now. Sign me up for a record deal. I'm gonna be the next. Is SoundCloud even a thing anymore? We don't talk about SoundCloud rappers anymore. Is that still a thing? Or did it disappear like Pirate Bay and Napster? I never used Napster, but I did used to use Pirate Bay. Okay. Okay, so far all 3 readings have been fairly different, which is exciting. And now we'll look at your reading. We're going to look at how this person would react, and then the reason behind their reactions. And once again, I'll reiterate, if you know this person, this matches the description of what you already kind of know about them. If you're at that stage yet where this behavior has been revealed, then this could potentially be further explanation as to why they behave this way. Although if it is something like super important that you need to have a discussion with them about, I would really recommend you doing that, because they'll always be able to tell you better than I can. And if this is somebody that you don't know very well or don't know at all, these may be things just to observe, which there's nothing been like super bad. Like, we haven't really gotten a reading about somebody being like a grump ass and taking it out on you. But, you know, if this doesn't sound like the type of love, like, or reaction that you would want from a partner, you know, it's something to keep an eye out for, and maybe it's behavior that can be adjusted. Or maybe like if you meet someone or you find this out about the person that you're already interested in or engaging with, it might indicate that they're not, you know, a good match for you necessarily. It all just depends on how flexible one or both of you are. I just like to clarify. I naturally over-explain things, but I do like to clarify as well, because this is a very... People who are watching tarot, you know, or observing any kind of like spiritual practitioner with a sense of like curiosity, I just never want to put myself in a position where I'm like, I'm a know-all, be-all, you know? Like, and I love that about a lot of the readers that I watch, where they're just kind of like, use your own judgment, you know, use your discernment, because at the end of the day, we're just here to read some cards, and hopefully it's enjoyable or benefits you. But, you know, we definitely don't want to pretend we know everything. So let's get into what this person would do if they saw someone flirting with you. We've got the 4 of Swords in reverse. We've got the Page of Cups. And then we've got the Ace of Swords. Okay. So for a lot of you, this is probably somebody who hasn't actually expressed themselves to you, or maybe even if you've been in a long-term relationship, sometimes what happens is we just get so comfortable, we forget how we need to continue to show up in our relationships and keep that spark alive and keep that relationship alive. So we'll see why they act like this. Let's get a little bit more. Why is that Empress there in reverse? Ah. Okay. Then we'll put that there. And then 7 of Pentacles. Okay. So if this person saw someone flirting with you, if they were in any sense like stagnant, like maybe this is a relationship that has been, you know, on a long course and things have kind of settled down. There's not as much passion anymore. You're not trying to continue to keep the romance fresh or whatnot. This really might stir this person out of that stagnancy. If this is somebody who hasn't expressed emotions for you before they like see you like someone flirting with you, this is going to kick them into gear, because they're going to realize like, holy crap, I could potentially miss my chance with group number 4. So I love that we have these 2 aces here. Sorry, I thought this was the ace because it's a single large cup, but it's the Page of Cups and the Ace of Swords with the Fool. And what this energy is giving me is that they would immediately jump, and they would come to you in a romantic way. It could be with words. And with the Ace of Swords here, a lot of times we do think of like communication, truths, epiphanies. So if this is somebody who hasn't expressed their feelings for you or hasn't like offered you commitment or accepted commitment in the past, I think this is the moment where they would come to you and be like, you know, group number 4, I really have feelings for you. You know what? I want to be committed to you. And I think they would do this in a really romantic way. Like this could be somebody who would write you a romantic letter. This is somebody who could potentially like buy you a bouquet of flowers if you like flowers, or, you know, if they know you well enough to know things that you enjoy, like say if there's a certain movie coming out and you've mentioned just kind of casually like, oh, I would love to go see that movie. They might make a whole thing out of that. They might get dressed up. They might plan the date. They might pick you up. They'd be smelling good. They might grab some of your favorite snacks or whatever. And if this is somebody who that you've been with for a while and maybe things have just gotten too comfortable, I think this is somebody who would try to come to the relationship in a new way. This isn't going to be somebody who comes to you doing the same old things, you know, which you could enjoy some of the same old things, you know. But I think this is somebody who would come to you in a refreshing, new manner. They might do things that they wouldn't normally do. You know, take you out to a new restaurant or get you a spa treatment, or they might want to, like if you guys are married, they want to renew vows with you. Maybe take you on vacation someplace you haven't been before. This is something that they're not going back to tried and true methods. This isn't somebody who, and I appreciate about this person, because I think it shows that they recognize that if you fall just into patterns of like, even if, oh, whenever things kind of get dull between group 4 and I always just buy them a box of chocolates and things are good for a while. No, like they actually put effort into thinking about, okay, how can I shake things up? How can I do things differently here? This is for some reason making me think of a baby. So, there are for some of you. Okay. For some of you, and I feel like this is a very limited message. I mean, not that like a whole bunch of people watch my videos anyway. Not yet, but I do enjoy. I love every single one of you who does give me an opportunity. But like I know I've been gone for a while. So my viewership has really tanked, and that's my own bad. But I feel like for some of you there is a cautionary tale that for some of you there is an individual who may try to get you pregnant, thinking that like, oh, if you haven't had kids before this, whether like you would physically carry the child, or if this is a heterosexual connection, they might try to do that. Otherwise, this could also be somebody who might just try to be physically intimate. So they might be somebody who gets a little bit fresh with you, who like caresses you, brings out like the aphrodisiac platter. So there are a lot of different ways. One of them is a little concerning if it's like the pregnancy aspect or trying to get pregnant. But for the majority of people who would be watching this video, I think it is just romantic. Like they would either become very physically affectionate towards you, or else they would try to do something that was very fresh, very new, very exciting. The reason why they would do this, I'm just hearing like, you're my world, or you've got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. And so I think this person does understand, with the world talking about like completion and the ending of cycles, I think they do understand that sometimes when we don't continue to look for new ways to maintain affection and a budding sense of romance within our relationships, that it can potentially cause like the ending of a relationship, or just a complacency that can be very damaging to the relationship. For others, I feel like especially those who may not be in a relationship with you or may not be committed to you yet, they would see that their lack of activity could potentially lead to the relationship never coming to fruition in the first place, or never getting far. The Empress in reverse a lot of times talks about holding on to something too tightly. Oh, I get it here. Yeah, just the idea of like, if they don't nurture this connection, then they realize they're not going to receive any nurturing here as well. And I think even if this person has been more distant or isn't somebody that you've been able to see has more of like an affectionate side to them, I do think this person does have a little bit of a softness. And it could be just they have a softness in general. It could be that they have kind of a softness for you. And, but for those of you who this is like the pregnancy thing, it is just this kind of thought of like, oh, if we have a child together, they'll stay. Or if we have a child together, that reignites our relationship. Which that can be very problematic. So if that is the instance, if these are red flags that you notice in a person that you're crushing on, that you're having a situationship with, that you're in a relationship with, that might be something to address with them. Babies don't fix everything. Okay, and we should never want to take away someone's autonomy by creating a whole ass being with them. You know, like. Before I shuffled the cards, though, there was the Seven of Pentacles underneath here. And so what that says to me is that this person realizes that relationships do take work, and that this is somebody who overall is willing to put in that work. Sometimes they just may need a little bit of a boot in the rear to realize that either other people are interested in you and they're not the only one vying for your affection, and so they need to step it up and be the kind of person that you are deserving of and who shows you that they care about you. Otherwise, they also just recognize, like, even though if you guys have been together for years or other things are kind of going on in your guys' lives that are detracting from the relationship a little bit, they understand the value and the necessity of still prioritizing the relationship and showing that it's something that they want and that they're willing to put effort into. So group number 4, I hope you enjoyed this reading. If it resonated with you, please let me know how in the comment section down below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to be a part of our family and haven't done so, you can go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you'll find out whenever I upload a new video. Bye!